Hi friends, and welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. Today I have some spring and Easter videos for you from my past. I hope you enjoy it. So make sure you get a favorite snack, sit and relax, and I hope you enjoy the video. So with all that being said, let's get to crafting. I started off by painting that whole carrot with my ivory chalk paint. Once it was done, I took that fern and I very carefully went over the raised part of the leaf there. After that, once it was dry, I took some ivory and a small chip brush and I'm just doing some distressing over that green part. And once I have that completed, I took my Mod Podge and I just covered the left side of that carrot because I had in mind to have this coming down the side. Well, we'll go over that in a minute. So I removed that backing from that napkin and I don't know what I was thinking. Instead of fussy cutting my napkin, which I should have done, I thought, oh, you know, it just comes right down the side that I want. So I'm just going to put it on there. So I put it on my carrot. I put my parchment paper over it and used my heat press to what do you call it? I can't think. Get that, reset that Mod Podge, maybe, I guess. Anyways, so once that was done, I trimmed off the excess here and I added another piece to the very bottom to make it finished. I should have made a smaller piece. But anyways, then I went over it again with my Mod Podge. And then once it was dry, I went over and sanded all the extra. Now, I wasn't happy with the way this looked when I put this. I decided to use this rickrack that I got from Dollar Tree a while ago because it still shows some of that flour doesn't go over it. But there wasn't a lot I could do with that. So I just left it the way it was. I hot glued that Happy Easter sign, which I painted with Apple Barrel's pink blush. I felt that matched the color of this rickrack. And then I liked that rickrack so much that I decided to go around the whole carrot with this rickrack. And I absolutely love the way this came out, you guys. Even though I wasn't thrilled with the way I did the napkin, I still love the way this came out with that rickrack. It was just so cute. Anyway, so I took some twine here. I made a finger bow. I'll show you how to do a finger bow a little slower, a little later on this video. And then I am just going to hot glue it. I trimmed down those tails there and hot glue it right towards the top of the carrot. And then I just added a twine hanger back into the holes that were originally there. And that's all there was for this. I love how this came out, even with that little mishap with the napkin. I just think it is adorable. And it only cost me about $2. Yep, let me know what you think about this in the comment box below. So I'm going to start off by sanding all of that nasty glitter off of both those sides. And I'll tell you, I had glitter everywhere. It took forever to get it all cleaned up. But once I had it all cleaned up, I am going to use my spackling and I just filled in the holes on each end of the sign, so one on each sign. Then I used my wood glue and hot glue and some jumbo craft sticks to adhere those signs together. Then I painted the signs with my elephant chalk paint and I painted the cross with the linen white chalk paint. After that, when it was all dry, I took that linen white and a chip brush and I'm going to do a real heavy dry brushing along this sign. It went into the grooves and so it was it didn't really stand out. So I decided to take some more of the elephant and go through the grooves and then I just kind of touched up some of the overspill with my white. After that, I took this cross and I'm taking my antique wax and I'm just brushing it all on and then I'm going to wipe it off. And you're probably wondering, well, why did I paint it white if I'm going to do this? I just love the way the white shines through behind the wax. I just think it gives it a real rustic wood look and I just really like it. So I did do that over the flowers too. So then I took these little flowers, I cut off the wires that are on the back and I'm just going to hot glue them all over in place where the little flower wood cutouts are. Once I was done with that, I took my Chalk Couture transfer, and since this is the first time I'm using it, I fuzzed it. If you're not familiar with Chalk Couture, it is an adhesive transfer, so you want to fuzz it the first time you use it so that it doesn't pull up your paint when you remove it. So then I took my Storm Chalk paste, and I'm taking my little squeegee here, and I'm just adding the chalk paste to my transfer, which has a silk screen mesh there, and then I removed it and I went and cleaned my transfer. After that, I took my cross and I'm taking some wood glue and I'm going all along the middle, going vertical and horizontal. And then I took my hot glue and went around the edges, and that's for the permanent hold and the immediate hold. And I'm just going to place that right there in the middle of my sign. I absolutely love the way this came out, you guys. So I took this polka dot ribbon. I got this fall from Hobby Lobby. It was on clearance for like 99 cents or 79 cents. And I just hot glued it around the top. And then I used some ribbon that I had for a couple years from Dollar Tree, the pink gingham, and I put that on top. And I made sure that I left room for the hangers. And then I added a couple more of the flowers. These were the last flowers that I had over by the He Is Risen, because I felt like it needed a little more color there. And then I took some more of that polka dot ribbon, and I'm making a bow by doing the awareness ribbon, scrunching it up in the middle, using some jute twine to keep it scrunched. And then I am going to make a bow with that pink gingham ribbon as well. And this is the finger bow, so I'm going to do it slow. So I wrap it around my first finger. I come underneath the second finger, and I make sure I cut a long tail off because you want to have a long enough tail. And then I go over those two wrapped ribbon pieces, and I bring it around, and then I take that in and go through that little loop that I made when I came around it, and then pull tightly. I always like to push my thumb against that knot while I'm pulling. That really helps tighten it. And then I give my ends a dovetail there. And then I'm just going to add that to the other bow by tying that twine around that one as well, and then hot gluing it to the top. Then I made a little finger bow with some twine and hot glued that on as well. Then I just added a beaded hanger with some beads that I had in my stash, put it through those two holes, and there it is. I love how this came out. I actually have this hanging in my living room, and it will definitely be one of my Easter decor pieces. So I start off by painting that wood round with my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. I always feel like I'm Kathy Joe when I say that. And then I decided to mark off this section. So I'm taking my painter's tape, marking it off, and then I paint that middle section with my hazelnut chalk paint. And then after it was dry, no, I'm sorry, I was going to paint it. And then I realized, oh my goodness, I have to lay this out first. So I actually started painting it, and I had to wipe it off with a baby wipe. So here I'm laying out my decal, and I knew those lines were going to go over, which is what I wanted, and so I'm just trimming them off, and then I am burnishing this on. Now I had a heck of a time getting it to stay, and I think it was because my board was still a little damp. Yeah, so oh my goodness, anyways, I struggled, but once I got them all on, I'm putting the second part on here, and like I said, see, it's not wanting to stick very well. I've also heard, which I thought was kind of interesting, that vinyl, it like the stickiness expires on it, which is interesting. I'd never heard that before. But anyways, after that, I painted it with my hazelnut. Now I'm going over with really small brush strokes over the words, just because some of those pieces still, I was having a hard time getting it to tack down. So I was really worried that I was going to have a lot of bleeding on this. But I was pleasantly surprised. I only had a few areas that I kind of had to touch up, but it wasn't really bad. It was just it was noticeable to me because I knew what I wanted it to look like, but it really wasn't very bad. So here I'm just weeding off all of those letters so you could see the white underneath it. Once it was all dry and I had it all touched up, I took some of that white and I am just going through and I am doing a dry brushing all the way around that hazelnut color with my white. Then I took some ink with another small chip brush and I did some brush marks like you see. And then I'm going to take my baby white and I'm just smearing that in, because on the original piece, it has some, it looks more like this. It doesn't look like the regular brush lines, if you will. So I just smeared that in. So once I was done and that was dry, I took my decal, or one, not my decal, my goodness, my Chalk Couture transfer, and I'm just laying this out where I want it. And then I'm going to cover up that butterfly because I'm not going to use the butterfly, although I love it. And then I took that smaller transfer and I am placing it there. And then I'm using my chalk paste and going over all of this with my chalk paste. Now, if you don't know anything about Chalk Couture, I am a Chalk Couture designer. And I would love to answer any questions you might have about it. The Chalk Couture Club is a monthly subscription. It's $21.99 a month. You get an exclusive transfer, which is the one that I'm working on right now. That's the exclusive Club Couture transfer. And you get a new one every month, along with 3 single chalk pastes that coordinate with it. I think that's a great deal. And if you're interested, you can check out my site, which I have a link in my description box below for it, or you can always email me a question or ask me a question in the comments. I'd be happy to answer your questions. So after I cleaned off my transfers, I added some more of those flowers because I wanted to fill it in. And then I took 6 of these beads and I am painting my hazelnut on it, and then I'm wiping it with a baby wipe just to kind of give it that more of a stained look. I didn't want a full-on color. And then I just hot glued that hanger in place, and there it is. I love it. I think it's just as beautiful as the original or the item that I duped. You'll have to let me know what you think about this one as well. So I start off by removing the hanger from that Fresh Flower Market sign, and then I just removed the staples. And once I have all the staples out, I'm not going to fill it or anything because you're not going to see the back. So instead, I'm just going to use my wood glue and I'm just going to go all around the middle part of that, the back of that sign. And then after I have all that wood glue on there, I'm going to use my hot glue. Of course, the wood glue is for permanent hold. The hot glue is for immediate hold. So then I'm just going to place it where I want it. And then I take 3 of these little seed pots and I'm cutting them in half so that I have 6 halves. Then I'm going to use my paint and I'm doing a thick dry brushing with my white chalk paint all over each one of those. And once I was done with that, then I took my Fix-All glue and I'm just putting it along the sides and the bottom of my pots. And then I'm going to take hot glue and go over the rest of the areas that I did not have the Fix-All glue on. And then I'm just going to hot glue them onto my plaque here and have them just diagonal of each other, I guess is the right way of saying, I don't know. Anyways, I started filling those pots with my Spanish moss and then I ran out. So I did grab, I had bought recently a huge bag of Spanish moss from Hobby Lobby, but it was green, so I ended up having to put a little bit of that all over or in each one of those pots so that it all matched. Then I took some boxwood greeneries that I had sitting next to me and I just added a little sprig into each one. This is a lavender pick I recently got at Walmart, so I'm just going to cut it there. I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to use both the halves and I'm going to stick them in 2 different pots. And I kind of tried to not have them right next to each other. I wanted it to be a little bit different. Then I got these daisies just recently at Hobby Lobby. And so I'm just going to put them in one of the pots there. And then these I think are Gerber daisies. I got these at Dollar Tree. So I'm using some of those. And then these are the mini ranunculus, I think you call them. And I'm just going to take a couple of sprigs of that flower pick and add them to the rest of those pots. And I really love how this came out, you guys. I love them. Anyway, so then I took this sheer green ribbon that I had in my stash. I have no idea where I got it or how long I've had it, but I'm just hot gluing it to the front of the pots, just under that little lip, as you can see. And I used this green because since that sign was green, I just kind of wanted to bring some green in for that. So once I had that hot glued on all of them, I just took some twine and made just some little shoestring bows. And I add a little bow at the top, and there it is. I love this. This is just beautiful. You have to let me know what you think about this one as well. So first of all, I'm going to paint all those items white. And then once they were dry, I took my Fix-All glue and my hot glue, and I'm just putting them on the bottom part of that little spool. And I'm going to hot glue that, and, well, not just hot glue, but I'm going to glue that onto my little house here. Once I was done with that, I took a little paint bottle and I am just tracing out a circle with a pencil. And then I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and I am just going to outline that circle, and then I'm going to paint it all black. So it looks like a birdhouse hole. And after I have that all done, I had those little tumbling tower blocks sitting there just kind of so I would know where to put the circle at. So once I have this done, I set it aside to dry, and then once it was dry, I used my Fix-All glue and my hot glue again to hot glue those two tumbling tower blocks onto my house, just to make it look like a little roof over the hole for the birdhouse. And then after that, as you can see, I cut out the bird that I wanted to use, and I'm just placing him on to my house, and I put it so that his feet went onto that tumbling tower block, because then I thought it looked a little more like he was standing on it. And then I just start rubbing. I rubbed forever, but not really, but I just kept rubbing, and then I was tearing off the top piece, but then the tail came off. So I'm just placing it back down and rubbing with my fingers. The reason why that came off, it wasn't sticking, is because I probably should have sanded this house. There were some grooves in it, and so it took a while for me to finally get it to stick in with those grooves, but then it just stuck really nicely. And then after that, I cut out some of the cherry blossoms here, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want to lay it. And I'm going to do the same thing, just going to keep rubbing until it sticks. And then I start pulling off the film. And then while I'm pulling, if I see it coming off, I just lay it back down and rub some more, and then it will stick. And so as you can see, I still have a little bit on that piece. So I decided to go ahead and let it run over to the side. I just thought that kind of gave it a nice little special touch. So I just made sure that it was in line with the part that it came off of, and then rubbed until it was on my wood piece. After that, of course, I decided it needed a little bit of distressing, so I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant and this little stencil brush, and I'm just going around and just doing a little bit of dry brushing all along the edges of my birdhouse. I do the front and the back, and then I just do a little bit of dry brushing on the side of the house and the top. And I also did this to the little wood plaque, oval red plaque, as you see. And then after that, I took my wood glue here. I'm adding it to the bottom of my house, and then some hot glue, again for the media and permanent hold. And then I'm going to add it to that plaque. After that, I took one of these birdhouses I just recently, and bird nests that I recently got from Dollar not Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby. It was on sale, 40% off. And I'm just going to use hot glue to glue it right there on the plaque in front of the birdhouse. And then I took these eggs, and these little wood eggs from Dollar Tree, and I painted one with the Waverly chalk paint in the color sandstone, one in the color ballet slipper, and this one, I don't know if it's a new color or if I've just never seen it before. I can't think of the name of it. Just a sec. Well, I'll have to have it in my description box because I can't read it. But it was a really pretty green, so I got that and tried it out. So I'm going to use, again, my Fix-All glue and my hot glue. And I found these, I had these in my stash. I had painted them previously, the little dowel caps, and I just added them for feet. Now I'm going to show you in very slow motion how to do a finger bow. Just took my ribbon, wrapped it around my 2 fingers like you see. I cut off the excess. I cut a little longer tail. And now I'm just threading that in between my fingers and then coming up around the front of it or back of it. And then going back under that loop that I just wrapped over my bows and then pull tightly. And that's how you do a finger bow. Finger bow, not bowl. So I dovetailed the ends, hot glued it to the top, and isn't that just adorable? Oh my goodness. What else can I say? So I'm going to start off by removing that hinge from the picture here. And then after that, I am going to take it off, and then I'm going to start ripping off the top part of this paper. This came off super easy. I love it. When I know I want to remove the paper, I love it when it hangs over because it makes it so much easier to rip off. But I rip it all off. I do this and I rip it off on the house. And then I take my spray bottle and I spritz it all down with water, and then I let it sit for a few minutes and then use my paint scraper here to just scrape it all off. And then if there's any adhesive on the back of on it, then I will just use like some Goo Gone to kind of wipe it off. But once I was done with that, I took my chalk paint here by Waverly and painted both sides of those house and that square piece with my chalk paint. Then I fussy cutted my little napkin here. I'm just going to cut it out all around, and so that all you have left are the birdhouses. I didn't want any of the napkin. You can also just use a paintbrush and water if you want to do this. I know a lot of people do that. For some reason, I just like to cut. I don't know. It's kind of soothing for me, I guess. I don't know. Then I removed these napkins have 3 plies. So I removed that. I removed the first ply when I started cutting, and then I just removed the second ply. Then I'm just using my Mod Podge. I'm painting or using the Mod Podge where I'm going to lay my birdhouse, and then I just very gently lay it down onto the Mod Podge, and then just kind of use my fingers very gently to smooth it out. And you want to be careful not to rip it. And so that's why I'm being really, really careful and doing it very gently. Now, normally I will use my heat press, but this time I decided, since these are just in smaller ways, and I forgot to, when I was cutting it, normally before I start cutting, I will add my Mod Podge and let it dry. And I didn't. And I was on a time crunch, so I decided to just do it this way. So that's why I'm just trying to be very careful so I don't rip the napkin. Then I took my saran wrap here in my little brayer, and I just made sure to get any bubbles out and make sure it was all smooth. After I was done with that, I just went and covered it all with my Mod Podge. In fact, I went all over the sign, which could have been a problem here. I might not have been dry all the way because I'm adding my decal, but when I went to go remove it, see, my eye came off. It was kind of pulling up the paint. So I just very carefully walked my transfer tape through. I did have to use a little bit of white paint to kind of touch up a couple areas there because it was pulling up some paint. But I think the Mod Podge wasn't dry all the way. So after that, I did the same thing here as I did on the other birdhouse, where I'm just using my little paint bottle here to trace out a circle and then paint it black. And then I'm taking this little dowel I got from I think Dollar Tree, I don't know. And I'm just cutting it with my miter shears, and then I'm going to go over, I paint 2 tumbling tower blocks with my white, and then I took some pieces of tumbling tower blocks that I had in my stash. They had been cut down previously, and they were perfect size for what I need them for. So I paint all of them white, including that little peg that I cut for my birdhouse. So once they were all dry, I took my wood glue and hot glue here, and I'm just going to hot glue the tumbling tower blocks at the top part of this house, just to give it a little eave, I guess you would call it. And then once I have that all on, I just took some hot glue, pretty good portion, and then hot glued my little peg right onto the house there. Then I'm just taking that hinge, and I'm going to use the screws that came off of it to screw it all back into place. And then I'm just going to screw it back onto the square piece. And then after I was done with that, I took some of these wood flowers from Dollar Tree. They come in a little pack in the garden section. I am using my Arteza paint markers to color in all the flowers, and then I'm going to use the green color to color in the leaves of each one of them. And then I also colored in that wood bird, and which I believe also comes from Dollar Tree. And then after that, I just took some hot glue, and I'm just going to hot glue these flowers into place. Then I'm going to hot glue that little bird right above the flowers. And what else do I do? I think that's going to be it. Look at that. Oh, isn't that just adorable? I love that napkin. That is one of my favorite napkins. Oh, anyways, I think it's adorable. So I'm going to start off by I removed the hangers from those plaques, and then I am just filling the holes with my spackling. After that, I laid them all out, and I'm using my jumbo craft sticks from Walmart to put them together, and I'm just using my wood glue and hot glue, and then I attach them just like that. Then I painted the whole thing with that truffle color. Now, once it was dry, I took my Elmer's glue and I just layered it all over my board, and in fact, I ended up adding more. But then I just took a brush and brushed this all in. Now, I probably should have used a bigger brush. If I used a bigger brush, it might have worked a little bit better, but or a little faster. It felt like it took forever. But anyways, once I had my board all covered, I'm going to pour on some paint. Now, should not have poured it on. I should have poured this in a bowl or a plate and done it from there, because I poured on way too much, as you can see. I had it going everywhere. So once my board was covered, I am going to dry it to get the crackle effect. So that's what I'm going for, is the crackle effect. And look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I have been wanting to try this for a while, and I was so excited to do this for this project, but I just love it. So again, you want to make sure the glue is not dry. You paint over the glue when it's still wet, and it does the crackle, which I just love. Then I took the eggs and painted them with the pink sky, and I took that round and used my antique wax on it. Then I'm taking my wood glue and hot glue. I'm putting them on the back of each egg, just like you see, and then I'm putting them in the shape of a flower. After that, I went on every other petal and put wood glue, and then I put hot glue on the other petals, and I'm adding my round on the front. Then I took some of these half beads. I don't know what size these are. I was going to measure them and I forgot. But they're pretty big, and I am painting them with my ivory color. And I always like to put them on painter's tape and then just paint, and I just think it's a great way. They don't move and they stay right where they're at, and it's just, to me, it's really easy. Then once they were all dry, I went and I laid them all around my wood round here, and then I'm just using hot glue to glue them on. And then I decided I wanted to do something more, so I took some twine, and on those eggs they have a little groove, and I am just going around that groove with my twine, and I just kind of filling it in. It might be a little hard to see on camera. It might not be, but if it is, it's pretty noticeable in real life. I could have used a little thicker twine. I used the thin one that I had. And then here I'm just getting all the fuzzies off with my lighter. Then I decided I wanted some distressing along my petals, and so I'm just using some of that ivory, and I am just going around and doing a little bit of distressing. Then after that, I just felt like that middle needed something, so I took one of these wood picks, flower picks that I got from Dollar Tree. I took that middle part off of it, and then I painted it with the same color as the petals and did a little dry brushing on it as well. And then here I just used some E6000 and hot glue and putting that right in the middle. And the reason why I'm using the E6000 instead of the wood glue is because almost all of my paintbrushes were dirty and I didn't want to dig for the one I used for my glue. So here I just took some of this ribbon. I'm not sure where I got this. I've had it in my stash for a while. I hot glued two ends together. I did not measure it. I just kind of eyed it. And then I squished it in the middle, and I'm using some twine to hold it tight. And then I'm going to take that floral ribbon that I just think is beautiful. I got that from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just making my bow like I normally do. I do the awareness ribbon sign and then scrunch it in the middle. And here I just took an extra piece of that brown ribbon to make for the legs. And then I am just attaching both of them. Although I wish that brown ribbon, I would have made the legs a little bit longer. But then I just cut down the pink ribbon and dovetailed the ends and hot glued it on. And then I just added a twine hanger to the back of it. And look at how pretty that is. I just love that flower. And the crackle effect behind it is just beautiful. This was from the Walmart dollar spot. It was $5. So I started off by using some painter's tape and taping off just about the top, I don't know, third of it maybe. And then I painted it with my my chalk paint here, and I'm just going to paint this top part as well as the handle. I did not paint the back. I was really good. I was so proud of myself. I didn't get any on the back, and normally I get it all over the back when I paint. And then once I had this all painted and dried, I fussy cutted some flowers out of this napkin. This napkin, I don't remember who sent it to me, but I think it might have been Mia. But I just thought it was so beautiful. I've seen other people use it, and I've always wanted to use it. And I was so excited when I got it, but I never got to use it. It didn't match with what I was already doing. I was really bummed. But anyways, side note. Okay, back to, I'm taking my Mod Podge here, and I'm just going over that painted area. Not the neck part, but just that top part there. And then I laid out my flowers just like I wanted them. And I'm putting my parchment paper down and using my heat press. Now, if you saw my recent video, you saw how when I did this method, it pulled up the paint. I think the reason why was because I put Mod Podge over that whole area when I only needed it in that one spot. And I think that's what happened when I pulled up the parchment paper. It pulled up the paint because there was no napkin there as a barrier, if that makes sense. That's the only thing I can think of. And someone suggested that, and I think they're correct. So anyways, once I was done, and it worked right this time, I took this, I think this is bright magenta, and I made polka dots because I just felt like it needed something more. And then once that was dry, I took some ribbon that I got last year from Dollar Tree, and I just hot glued it to the front. And then I took a little bit more. I felt like it needed a kind of a border for that area, so I just hot glued it right there too. And then I will just hot glue the ends down. The ends on the top part were at a little bit of an angle, but that's okay. I just hot glued it and then trimmed the little pieces down. And then I just felt like the bottom needed just something more. So I took some of those flowers. They came from a pack from Dollar Tree, and I painted it with those colors there. It was what were those colors? Oh, well, I'll have it in my description box. And then I hot glued those flowers on. If you're new here, I always have a list of what I used in my description box. So you can always check that out if you're wanting to know what I used. And then I also have my links to everything too. Okay, and then I am hot gluing those flowers here. And that's all there is for this one, I think. Oh, nope, I forgot. I added a little bow to it. And there it is. I love it. I have this in my kitchen and it is so cute. I love it. So I'm going to use this board and trace out with the paper, trace that board out and trace the paper out. Oh my goodness. Okay. Once it was traced out and cut out, I used my glue stick and I'm just using that to adhere it to the cutting board. Now this paper, it has scriptures in it and the Lord's Prayer. So that's why I picked that paper. So then I just put some hot glue on the back and I added my twine and I am just wrapping it. I don't remember how many times I wrapped it, you guys. It's just really a matter of how thick you want the cross to look. So I'm just wrapping it and making sure that it's even on both sides. And then once I got it to the width that I thought I liked, I trimmed it and then I just hot glue that piece to the back there as well. And then I'm going to take a little bit of twine there and I'm weaving it underneath, and then I'm going to cinch it and I went up just a little bit and I cinched it and tied that in a knot. And then after I do that and trim it all down, then I'm going to take some more of that rope and I'm going to do the same thing where I hot glue it in the back, and then I'm just going to wrap it around the sides and basically do the same thing that we did when it was going up and down. So once I have this all wrapped, I'm just going to, and again, I don't remember how many times I did it. I just did it to where I felt like I liked the way it looked. Then this time I used a tapestry needle to weave in that twine, made it a little easier. And then I just scrunched it and tied a knot. And I absolutely love this one, guys. I think I love them all. I think they all came out really pretty. So I took some more of the solo wood flowers and I am just going to hot glue that big one in the middle of the flower or the cross there. Then I'm taking some of these smaller ones and just going around the outside of that bigger flower there. Then after that, I took some of these pearl beads that I got from Dollar Tree. I've had them forever. And I just am hot gluing them in between those flowers where there was some gaps. And when I did that, I made sure that the little holes were not there facing sideways and not up and down. Then I took some smaller pearls from Dollar Tree and I did the same thing. I just went around the inside of that flower just to give it, I don't know, a little something else. Then I took my antique wax. I decided that paper needed some distressing and I just went around the whole board distressing the paper, distressing the board, because the board is kind of a lighter color and I kind of wanted the edges to be a little darker. So I'm just going all the way around and doing my distressing, and then I'm also going to distress some of that paper. It was a tannish color, but I wanted it to be a little darker so that it looked a little more old. Then I'm going to take 4 tumbling tower blocks. I'm going to glue 1 on each side of the twine there. And then I'm going to take the other 2 and I'm going to hot glue them to the back of the ones that I already glued on, just like you see. And there it is. I love this. It is beautiful. And this is one that I think I have up in my living room all year long, right? So I am going to start off by taking 3 blocks and hot gluing them side to side. And I make 5 of these. Now, if you want to recreate this, you can make this as wide or as long as you want. This is just what I decided to do. So once I had those all done, then I am going to start gluing them together, top to bottom, like you see me doing there. And then I'm going to add one single piece to the top and to the bottom. And then I'm going to take 3 more and do the same thing as hot gluing them top to bottom there, I guess. And I'm going to do 1 on the end, and then these are going to be the sides of the cross, and I will hot glue them on the cross as well. If you're new here, I just want to say welcome. My name is Brenda, and I am so happy you stopped by today. If you like home decor on a budget, holiday decor, thrift flips, and gift ideas, then I would hope you would hit that subscribe button, become part of our family, and then let me know that you are here. I love to hear from all of my subscribers. I just love to get to know you, and that's one way of getting to know you. And then if you guys all like my video, please make sure you like and comment. That really helps my channel grow. It lets YouTube know that you like my content, and they will advertise it more. So as you saw there, I painted that cross once it was all glued together with my chalk paint. And here I am just measuring out the width of the paper that I want to use. And I am just using my Elmer's purple adhesive glue spray, I don't know what you call it, to adhere that paper to the cross there. And then once I was done with that, I took a little Mod Podge and I'm just going over it to just kind of help protect that paper so it doesn't rip. And it also gives it a little bit more, I guess helps it stick a little bit more is the word what I'm looking for. After that, I took my Scrabble pieces and spelt out Amazing Grace, like you see there, and I'm just hot gluing them all in place. After I am done with that, I decided it needed there was so much green, it needed something else. So I took some of this twine here, and I'm just hot gluing it and going right around the edge of that paper. And I really like the way this turns out. I think it just really helps frame in that paper. It kind of helps break up some of the green, and yeah, and gives it that rustic look too. So once I was done with that, I thought I still need something, so I took some more of that cashew chalk paint and I went all around the edge and just distressed it. And like I said, I really feel like this helps break down some of that green. I was feeling like it was just too much green, even though they're a little different colors. I just wanted to break it down some. So once I had that all distressed, then I went through and just threw some distressing on that paper as well. And then I took the 3 more blocks, and I'm going to hot glue them together. And then I'm taking those 2 blocks that you see there, and I'm going to hot glue 1 on each side. So we're just going to make kind of a bigger square block there. I guess it's more of a rectangle. And this is going to be the base of my cross there. So once I have that done, I painted it with my cashew chalk paint. And then once that was all dry, I'm going to use my wood glue and a little dab of hot glue to glue this cross on, and that's just to give it a better, longer hold. Then I just took some more pieces of greenery that I had, and I'm hot gluing them to the bottom of that cross, and then adding a couple of those wildflowers as well. And that is all there is for this one. Oh, I guess I added some little teeny yellow flowers there too. And there it is. I love it. I love that paper. I love the simplicity of all of it. And of course, I love the meaning. I start off, I got some skewers for my stash and I put them inside the eggs and I am just painting them. I paint 4 with the celery, 4 with agave, 8, 9, 10. I think I did 3 with the ballet slipper and 2 with the hazelnut. And I did have to do like 2 coats on each to really get a good coverage on them. Then once they were all dry, I'm just taking them and I'm alternating the colors, but I'm just adding a little glue end to end on them so that I didn't have to worry about them all just kind of running away. This way they were kind of staying put while I wrapped this. Now, if you can't find the egg wreath forms, you can obviously do this with regular round wreath forms. I've seen that on Pinterest before. And yes, I did get this idea from Pinterest, but like I said, they were all on round wreath forms. So, and I thought maybe I could get this to work good with the egg wreath form. So here I'm just kind of trying to bend it just a little bit so that it kind of bends downward. I thought that might help keep those eggs in place a little bit better. Then I took some rubber gloves, and if you're going to use chicken wire, I would recommend using some kind of rubber gloves on your hands because the wire is sharp. And I just used my wire cutters and I cut a bigger a piece. I don't know how much that was, but I just kind of eyed it and knew that that would wrap around. So I'm just taking that piece and wrapping it around as much of that wreath frame as I could. And then once I got the end piece all wrapped around, I just start tucking in those little end pieces into the wire wreath form, or the chicken wire. Just kind of pushed it all in so that way it's not sticking out and you can't, cut your fingers, because it'd be my luck I would cut my finger with them. So after I got it all wrapped, I took this ribbon. I got this ribbon, I believe, from Michael's last year. I just thought it was so pretty and I really do love it. I'm getting close to the end of it, but I'm just making a bow. I just made the awareness ribbon and scrunch it in the middle, and then I'm making a double bow. So I got this ribbon at Hobby Lobby last year. I just thought it was so beautiful. And so I'm just making a second ribbon, and then I'm going to attach those together with some jute twine and just gonna tie it tightly with a knot and trim that off, and then I'm going to fluff it and dovetail the ends of all of those tails there. And then once I have that all done, I am going to take some raffia that I got from Dollar Tree I've had in my stash, and I just took a big wad of it and I wrapped a longer piece of raffia around the middle to just kind of keep it in place, and then I just kind of tied a knot, and then I used that long piece to kind of weave through the wreath frame and then tie another knot just to hold that in place. Then I took some wire from that chicken wire and I put it behind my bow so that I could use it to tie it to my wreath form, and then I just added a jute twine hanger, and there it is. I love the colors of this. I love the rusticness of this. I don't even know if that's a word, but I just love it. I hope you do as well. So I start off by using my heat gun and my Cricut spatula and scraping away all this glitter. Now I'm not going to use this side of the sign, but I have found that when you don't do something with that glitter, you can get it in your paint and everything. So I always like to get the glitter off. And then I just use my cute little ladybug there to clean up the mess, and then I painted that egg with my white chalk paint by Waverly, which is a plaid product. So then I was going to tear out, or as you can see, I tore around this calendar page, but then I decided I didn't like that. So I'm just using my scissors to cut all around all the little flowers and pieces of grass and just part of that picture. And then after that, I took my Mod Podge and I just put it all around the back of this calendar page. And then after I am done with that, I'm going to adhere it to that egg. And I have to tell you guys, I absolutely love the way this came out. This picture is so pretty. I'm sure you've seen other people craft with this picture, and I almost didn't just because of that. But I am so glad I did, you guys, because I just love the way this came out. So I am just here smoothing this out, getting all the wrinkles out. And if you can see that little black, I don't know what they call that, squeegee. I got that from Plaid when they sent me my box of goodies, and I love it. It is great for just not so much getting the wrinkles out, but smoothing out the wrinkles, I guess is the best way to put it. So after that, I just used some more of my Mod Podge. Now I kind of waited for it to dry a little bit. I have found that when you let it dry a little bit, it tends to not wrinkle as bad. And then I just covered it, the whole thing, with that Mod Podge. And then in the picture, it has some like shiplap lines. So I decided to go ahead and continue with that idea. And I went along the egg and made some shiplap lines. After that, I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant and this chip brush I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm just really lightly brushing all over that picture, all over the edges. Because in that picture, when you look close up to that calendar page, it does have some of that gray undertones to it, so I wanted to just kind of bring that out. Then I took my little small chip brush that I got from Plaid. I actually ordered it on Plaid online, and I love these mini chip brushes, you guys, but I just distressed with that elephant color. And then I am just taking this ribbon. Now I got this ribbon from Walmart around Christmas time. I just thought it was really pretty, and it was so neutral, and I knew I could use it at any time, and it comes in perfect for this one. And then I took this pink gingham ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just making 2 bows by doing the usual awareness sign and scrunching them up in the middle. And then I'm just using some jute twine here to attach them and keep them scrunched. And then after that, I'm just going to dovetail the ends, and then I am going to add a hanger to this picture. I thought about also adding some florals or some flowers, but I decided that there was enough florals and flowers on the picture, so I decided not to. So here I just added some jute twine as a hanger, and then I'm just gonna hot glue the bow right there, and that's all there was for this one. And I love this one. It is so pretty. And then I just took some craft paper and hot glue and covered the back, and then cut off all that extra paper. And there it is. I just love this. This is just so precious. Oh, yeah. You'll have to let me know what you think about this one as well. So I painted that bottom egg with the lavender color, and then I'm painting the top part of the egg with the white. And then once I have them both painted, I think I had to do 2 coats on the top. I am cutting out the floral pattern on this napkin. Now the floral pattern at the end of the napkins has those bumpy spots, and on the bottom and on the sides. So I just cut those off, and then I cut around the florals there, which is great, and it's what I wanted to do, but I didn't stop to think about cutting the bottom. So the bottom has a straight edge, which is okay. It's not what I wanted as far as looks, but oh well. So if you want to recreate this, I would suggest cutting around the bottom as well, or using the paper method the water method and tearing that bottom piece as well. So I just added my Mod Podge around the seam, and then here I'm just gently dabbing my finger, which I probably should have used something else. I didn't rip it, but you can, so be careful. Use a saran wrap or something like that. But anyways, I'm just adhering that napkin, and then I added some more Mod Podge on the top. And I love this squeegee, you guys. Doing these projects, I've realized how much I really like using the squeegee. As long as you're very light-handed with it, it does great. So I took one of those styrofoam eggs I got from Dollar Tree, and I cut it in half. I just used a box cutter. And then I'm just painting each half with my lavender chalk paint. And then after that, I took some lavender from Dollar Tree. These were just a couple pieces off of a pick, and I'm hot gluing them onto the top. And then I'm going to take some solo wood flowers that I had. And I was just looking for flowers that matched the colors on that napkin, and I think they matched pretty well. But anyways, I'm just going to hot glue them all onto the top part of that egg. And then I also will hot glue the styrofoam eggs, one on each side as well. And when you do hot glue on the styrofoam like that, you do want to just put a little bit, not a lot, because it will melt the styrofoam. And you don't want it to melt too much. And then after that, I took some of this ribbon I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make a double bow. Just like I made the last bow, you do the awareness ribbon and scrunch in the middle, and then use something to attach them. And I am using some purple and white striped twine that I got from Dollar Tree last year. And both of these ribbons I did get from the Dollar Tree this year. So be on the lookout if you haven't seen them. They're very pretty. They've had some really pretty ribbon this year. And then once I have that all connected with my string, I'm going to trim it. And then I don't dovetail the ends, but I just cut them at an angle since it's a thinner ribbon. I just thought that would be a little easier to just do an angle on both of them. And then after that, I'm going to hot glue it right above, or right under those flowers next to one of the eggs. And then I took my Waverly chalk paint and I painted this candlestick that I got from Dollar Tree with that. And I did do 2 coats of the white chalk paint. And then after that, I took my elephant chalk paint and I'm just going to distress all around it. I love distressing with this color. I just think this color is so pretty. And I just love the way it distresses. And then after that, I'm just going to use my E6000 and hot glue to attach that egg to my candlestick, which you'll see here in just a moment. Then I'm going to take my E6000 and put it on part of my little candlestick there, and then I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue as well, trying not to mix them. And then I'm just going to add my egg to the top, and then I just hot glued a bow down at the top of that candlestick. And this is adorable. Oh my goodness, how can you go wrong with that? So I'm going to start off by laying out these wood planks. Just like you see there, I took off the hangers. I am going to add my jumbo popsicle sticks to attach those planks together. If you recreate something like this, I recommend putting some spackling in the holes. I forgot to do that, and so you'll see what I do later to cover it up. So I'm just using my wood glue and hot glue here on all of my popsicle sticks to attach those 3 pieces of wood together. Then I took my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint and I painted the whole thing white. After it was all dry, I took my transfer. Now, since this is the first time using my transfer, I do fuzz it. I think I fuzzed it about 4 or 5 times, which I don't think was enough. It might have been enough, but I'll let you know what happened here. So once I had it all fuzzed, I lay it down. Now, if you're not familiar with Chalk Couture, it is an adhesive transfer. So it is sticky on the back, and the reason why we fuzz it is so that way it doesn't pull up your paint or stretch out the transfer when you pull it up. So after I had it laid where I wanted it, I took this blue color, which is beautiful, and I am going over the top seam there, and then I cleaned off my squeegee and I'm using Storm and I'm going over the bunny. Now I think I took too long because when I pull this up, it does pull up some of that gray. Now that storm color is getting thick. I've had to add water to it. I probably could have added a little bit more water to it because it's really thick. And I think that that's some of the reason why it pulled up as well. But I'm going to do the pull procedure here where I pull it up. And as you can see, it's really light there, which means that my paste is pulling up with the transfer. And I don't necessarily think that it was, I didn't fuzz it enough. I really think that it was just that I took too long and it was starting to dry, and especially with the storm color because it is so thick. So I used that blue color on the Established 1945. I'm using my violet and my eucalyptus on the flowers, and you can't see the very bottom. I was going to use the blue on the bottom, but I accidentally did the violet. I don't know what I was thinking. But once I got that all off, I went over with a little brush and colored in the gray color and made it all nice again. And then I used this rickrack. I got this rickrack from the Dollar Tree just recently, and I'm just going to hot glue it all the way around this sign. And I just love this. I think it came out perfect. It matches perfectly with what I'm doing. So then I took some of these little mini roses. I got these roses from Hobby Lobby. They were 50% off, and they so I think they end up being like $2. But I made a crown over my bunny here, and then I'm gonna put some bunny or some flowers around each corner of my sign here. And I'm just gonna hot glue them down. Now, if you are interested in chalk couture, I am a designer, so you can check out, I have links to my page in my description box, or if you have any questions about it, you can definitely email me or ask in the comment box. I'd be happy to answer any questions. So here I am just taking some more of that rickrack. I am tying knots on the ends, and then I'm going to hot glue it to the back for a hanger. And I forgot to mention that I did 2 layers of those flowers for the crown on the bunny. Then I took some of this twine that I got from Dollar Tree a couple of years ago, I think. I still have a whole bunch of it. And I'm just making a finger bow. And then I'm going to make, I made 2 of those finger bows and put one on the top by the hanger there. And there it is. It is adorable. I just love it. Started off by removed that hanger. It had staples and I just pulled them out, and then I went over the front with my antique wax. And then after that, I am going to open up this beaded wreath. I just used my needle nose pliers to open up the wire. Then I took 2 of the beads off and closed that wire back up. I had a heck of a time trying to figure out how I was going to connect this. So metal and hot glue I know doesn't work, and I did try it and it wasn't going to work. So I put some twine around the metal loop there and tied a knot, and then I'm going to hot glue it to the end or the edge of my round there. Then I just take the twine and I'm going to go around. I'm hot gluing it all the way around my round. I just thought, it will work better if it's glued to something like twine. So I thought, okay, well, I'll give this a try. So I'm going around here to the other side, and then I cut off the twine, left a long enough piece so that I could thread it through that loop and tie another knot, and then I'm going to hot glue that knot to my round piece there. And then I will just hot glue the rest of that twine and then grab more twine and go over it again. Now I do use my twine. I think I wrapped it around about 3 times, and I went over that area. When I went over the area where the beads are, I really pushed the twine around that metal piece so that it really held it in place. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised at how well it's holding. I was not sure it was going to work very well, but it seems to be holding really well. There really isn't any movement in it at all. So, yeah, this is what I came up with. If you will try to recreate this, and find a better way, let me know. But anyways, I got this idea. I see these on Pinterest all the time, but they're not out of the beaded wreath. It's usually something that is wrapped in twine. But I thought I'd try it with the beaded wreath, but I didn't really think through it too well. Because when I got to this part, I took that hanger, I cut it in half. I'm adding the beads to it, and I want to make ears with it. And I thought, okay, so I'm going to make this into the shape of ears. And then I'm going to wrap the wires together and wrap it around the top, but it kept flopping. And I had my husband come help me because I couldn't wrap that wire by myself and hold the top part together. So he's here helping me wrap the ends of that hanger around the top wired part. Once we got them both on, you can kind of see it the ears laying down there. I took some of these flowers. They all came from Dollar Tree, and I just put them together, and I'm securing them with some floral wire. And then I am going to use that floral wire as well to attach it to the top in front of the ears. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I can hot glue these ears to the flowers. No, that doesn't work because the beads keep moving. So I'm just adding this leaf and that other flower in the middle of those flowers there. But so I was just getting really frustrated. I was trying to figure out all kinds of ways to get it to stop moving. So my husband came in. He's like, well, let's just use some super glue. So we're using the gel super glue, putting it all around those beads, and then we sprayed it with the activator, which causes it to set within 7 seconds. Then I cut down a giant popsicle stick, and I'm just adding that to the back just to give it a little extra support, and I just used some hot glue. Then I took these beautiful flowers, and I'm just going to glue one on the bottom of each, where the handle is on each side. And there it is. This is so much fun and so adorable. I just love it. And I hope you do too. Taking that plaque and painting it with my white chalk paint. And then after that, I'm going to cover, after it was all dry, I covered the front with my Mod Podge, and then I'm going to set it aside to dry. And it only takes like 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most to completely dry. So while it was drying, I took my napkin and I cut the square out. The one thing I love about decoupagenapkins.com is that their napkins they always have 4 of the same picture on one napkin. So it's almost like getting 4 napkins. On this napkin, though, it has 2 because it has the 2 of the front and 2 of the back of the bunny, which is adorable. I'm going to make something with that here coming up too. But so anyways, I'm just going to fussy cut all around this bunny and trying to get as much of that background out as I can. And there is a little bit going through the glasses. I thought about trying to cut it out, but I decided just to leave it in. So then I placed it where I wanted it. I'm going to use my parchment paper here, and then I'm going to go over it with my heat press. I do set my heat press on high. There's low, medium, and high settings on it, and I do put it on high. And then after that was all done, I took some more Mod Podge, and I'm going over it just to help protect that napkin so it doesn't rip. And then I just set that aside to dry. No bubbles. I didn't feel any bubbles at all, so I did not use my heat press again over it. If you recreate something like this or do this method, and if it bubbles up, if you use too much Mod Podge on the top and it bubbles up a little bit, you can, once it's dry, you can just add the parchment paper and the heat press again, and that will get rid of the bubbles. Then there was a little bit of the napkin hanging over, so I'm using my little finger sander to get it off, but I should have done this before because that wood was really had a lot of little, I don't know, splinters, so I just sanded it off a little bit. Then I took some more rickrack, which is from Dollar Tree as well, and I'm going around that little groove that is around the top part of my plaque, and I'm just going to go all the way around it with that rickrack. And I just thought this gave it a nice little detail, but I felt like it needed something more. So I am going to do this first. I took my tumbling tower blocks that I painted white at the same time I painted the plaque, and I'm hot gluing 2 of them together, so I had 2 sets of 2. And then I'm just going to hot glue the first set to the back of my plaque, and then I'm going to take the second set and hot glue it to the back of those tumbling tower blocks. And then after that, I am going to make a finger bow. I think this is the one that I slowed down for you guys. And this is a triple finger bow. So I just went around 3 times, and then I cut off the end, go between my fingers, wrap it around, and pull it from underneath that little loop that it made and pulled it through. So after that, I trimmed off the tails, and then I'm just going to hot glue that little bow there. Then this is where I decided it needed something more. So I hot glued some of that twine around the other little edge there. There's a little groove there as well. There was 2 grooves. So I took the twine. I figured it was perfect. It fits right in there. The rickrack, it would be too big for that. So I went all the way around with that twine as well. Then I'm going to add one of these little paper flowers that comes from Hobby Lobby to the top there, and that's all there was for it. Isn't that just adorable? I love that napkin. It is so, so cute. So I start off by removing the hanger and using my spackling to fill in that hole. And then after that, I'm going to paint it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Pumpkin. Once it was all dry, I took this sponge dauber I got from Dollar Tree and my white chalk paint, and I am just going to go make some polka dots all over it. Now, I will say I did get this idea off of Pinterest. I did see it there. They had 2, and one was striped. So I wanted to do both, but I couldn't find my second heart, and I was sure I had 2. Anyways, I need to organize my stuff, you guys. It's getting to the point where I can't find anything. Once it was dry, I am cutting off some picks from that boxwood pick there, and I'm just kind of placing it, trying to see where I want to put it, and then I'm going to use my hot glue and glue them right onto the back, just like you see there. And when you do this, make sure you don't stick your other finger that's not covered into the hot glue like I just did there. And then once it was all done, I took my this orange gingham ribbon I got last year from Dollar Tree, and I made a finger bow. And here I am just going to dovetail the ends, and then I am going to make another finger bow. But first I want to play with it and see where I want to lay it. I was trying to figure out where I wanted to put it. And then I'm going to take some twine and I make another finger bow, just a single finger bow. And I'm going to put that right in front of that orange gingham ribbon. And I think that's pretty much all there was for this one. Then I'm going to glue that gingham ribbon to the top of my carrot, and then I'm going to add that little twine bow that I made to the front of that gingham bow, and that's all there was for this. It's great for a tier tray or a riser. I love it. It is adorable. So I'm going to just start off by putting Mod Podge all around the inside part of this sign, just giving it a good layer. And then once it's all covered, I'm going to set it aside to dry. And I did wipe off that excess that was on the frame part, the rim. I was getting a little crazy there. And then I took my napkin. Now these napkins are 3-ply, so that second ply I could not get off. So I took some double stick tape and put it on the back, and it pulls right off. So nice little trick for you there. Once I had all those plies off, I took my paintbrush with some water, and I'm going, and look, that went just a little bit crazy there because had too much water on my brush. But anyways, I am just, instead of cutting, I decided to do it this method where you get it wet and then you just pull off that excess there, just like you see me doing. And I do the bottom as well. Then after my Mod Podge was all dry, excuse me guys, I'm just going to take this napkin and lay it out. Then I'm taking my parchment paper, just the kind you get for your kitchen. And I am using my mini heat press to go over that napkin. This keeps the wrinkles out, and it resets that glue, the Mod Podge, so that the napkin sticks. After that, I am going to go over the napkin with some more Mod Podge just to protect it so that it keeps that napkin safe. I love doing the method with my little heat press. It just, every single time, I don't have to worry about wrinkles or bubbles. I just love the way it works. Then I decided I wanted to do something else. So I went ahead and I took some twine. This twine I get from Walmart, and I'm just going to go and I'm going to hot glue it all the way around my picture. And the main reason why is because some of the napkin was on the edge of the inside edge of the frame, and I just kind of wanted to cover it. Plus, you know me, I like doing that with the twine anyways. So once I went all the way around it, I decided to add some butterflies. So I took this paint. This is Sapphire by Deco Art, I think it's called, Americana. And I took two butterflies. I think I got these from Dollar Tree, and I'm painting them with that sapphire color. And then I'm going to take two more, and I'm going to paint them with, this is called Lemon Custard by Folk Art, and I'm going to paint those. And the reason why I did these colors was because there's a blue butterfly and a yellow butterfly on that napkin. And then I'm just going to hot glue those butterflies on the corner of my sign. And that's all there was. I think it is so beautiful. This napkin has got to be one of my favorite napkins of all time when it comes to Easter DIYs. But I love this. So I started off by just removing the frame, just pulling it apart. It just snaps together. And then I'm taking my little finger sander and just kind of sanding it so that when I paint it white, it will adhere better. And I did do 2 coats of paint. And once that was done, I went ahead and painted my little bunny head and ears here with that same white chalk paint by Waverly. And then, I don't know why I'm going to show you all of this. I guess I felt it was important. But I will note, since we have a moment, that I had 4 of these done. I had so many ideas, you guys. And the next morning, I got up and I thought, you know what? I want to do some more. So I did, you'll see some really colorful ones and more neutral ones because I just kind of had so many ideas. So that's what I went with. So then I took my Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant and I just brushed it around the little ledge there. And then I am doing some distressing around that bunny as well. Then I took that plastic piece that came out of the frame and I'm tracing it with the paper and cut it out. And then I'm just going to place it in between the frame there and snap it together. And I'm just going to show you here. It snaps really easy. You just go all the way around and snap it all together. And I think I had one little piece that broke off, but I don't know where it broke off at. And then after that, I'm going to hot glue my little bunny head to the front of my frame. Then I'm taking this small ribbon. I've had this stash for many, 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 many years. And I'm doing a finger bow. I do a double finger bow. So I went over my fingers twice. Then I go underneath and be around those 2 loops, I guess. And then bring that tail through the loop that I made. I don't know. It's hard to explain, you guys. I do it slow so that you can watch it. Yeah. Anyways, sorry, guys. Then I took some of these roses and I'm hot gluing them in place. And after that, I did trim off the tails there. I thought they were a little too long. And then I took some of these. This comes from Dollar Tree. There's some kind of ribbon of pearls. I don't know what you want to call them, but I'm just going to cut it down to 1 strand. And then I'm going to hot glue it all the way around the edge of my sign here. And once I have that all hot glued on, I do use my little spatula thing there because it's right in the corner and it's kind of hard for my fingers to get in there. So I was just using that to make sure it was going right down into that glue, just pushing it in, just like you see. And then I decided to add some more of these flowers on the top right corner and the bottom left corner. And then I made another finger bow with some more of that ribbon, and I'm just going to hot glue that to the bottom of the frame there. Then I'm just going to take that elephant chalk paint and do a little distressing all around the frame and in the bottom part and even in the back. And that's all there was for that one. It is so stinking cute. I love it. It's even a little shabby chic, I think. You have to let me know what you think about this one in the comment box below. So I'm going to start off by painting the front and the back of this wood round with my wax, and I just brush it on with a paintbrush, and then I wipe off the excess with a paper towel. And once it was all done, I took another paper towel and I'm just smearing some of that wax along the edge of this bunny. I just think it gives it a nice, just kind of a farmhouse rustic look. After that, I am going to use my wood glue, and I'm just putting a whole bunch of it along the middle part of that rabbit. And then I'm taking my hot glue here, and I'm just going all around the edge. And then I'm going to add that to the front of my wood round. And again, the wood glue is for permanent hold, and the hot glue is for immediate. After that, I decided to take some of these roses, and I'm going to hot glue them around the neck. I'm just going to trim off that little part that connects to the picks because it kind of sticks out a little bit. So I just trim it on all of them, and then I hot glue them just along the neckline there. And then I decided to get my crocodile out and make some holes on my wood round for the hanger. And then I took this ribbon. This ribbon I got at Christmas time from Walmart, and I am making a bow by doing the awareness ribbon, scrunching it up in the middle, and using some twine to keep it cinched. And then I'm going to do the same with this ribbon. This ribbon I think I got last year from Dollar Tree, and I'm doing the same kind of ribbon, and then I'm going to attach the two together, just like you see me doing here. And then after I have this all tightened, I'm going to dovetail the ends and trim off. I trimmed off that twine that I wrapped around it, and then I'm going to hot glue it right in between the bunny's ears to help cover the hanger holes on the bunny. Then I took some beads that I got from Amazon, and I am just going to string them on some twine here for a hanger. And then I'm just going to add that back to the holes that was already in that wood round. And there it is. Isn't that so cute? I started off by taking this little pick here and removing that hanger. The staples are very small and they're kind of hard to get, so that's why I had to use that little pick. Once I had it off, I went over all of these items with my wax. I used a paintbrush, brushed it all on, and then wiped it off with a paper towel. After that, I'm taking my transfer here and I'm fuzzing it. If you are not familiar with Chalk Couture, I am a designer, and they are an adhesive transfer, and we would like to fuzz them so that when we pull them up, I should say we like to fuzz them the first time we use them so that when we pull it up, it doesn't pull up the paint. So I'm just using my squeegee here, and I'm going over, I only wanted to do part of the bunny with those flowers, and I love how this turns out. I almost kind of think maybe I should have done the whole bunny, but anyways, I took the opposite end because I didn't want to get smears of chalk paste on the bunny, and then I'm just adding some more roses, and then I went and cleaned off my transfer, which is a silk screen, so you just rinse it off in some water. And then I am going to add some wood glue and hot glue and add this palette to one of those bunnies. Now, if you have any questions about Chalk Couture, I'd love to answer them for you. You can email me, or you can ask me in the comments, or you can just check out my site. I always have a link to my site in the description box as well. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other end of that palette with the wood glue and the hot glue. And then I'm going to add the bunny to that side of it as well. And then after that, I took the craft sticks and I'm just kind of marking where I want to cut them. And then I'm going to take a X-Acto knife here and I'm lining this up on the line so I know exactly where to cut. And then I'm just going to do some cutting there. And then I'm going to finish the cutting with my scissors. So basically I scored it and then cut it with my scissors. And then I'm just going to add the wood glue, and I'm adding wood glue just on the all over the ends of the craft stick, but I did wood glue only on the middle part of the palette because I'm going to add the hot glue to the palette. And then I'm going to stick this in there, get it all connected. Then I took some tumbling tower blocks that were already painted brown and they were in my stash, and I'm just putting them behind those sticks just to give it some additional support. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the top with the wood glue, add that stick in. And then I had some small pieces from some tumbling tower blocks that I had cut, and I used the wax on them. And then I'm just going to connect them to the back as well for some added support. Then I'm just going to use some hot glue, put my floral foam in there, hot glue it on, add some hot glue on the top, and I'm adding some Spanish moss. Now I get this Spanish moss from Hobby Lobby. It came in a huge bag. Then I'm just going to add some of these daisies and some Gerber daisies and some roses and some little eggs. And look how adorable this is. I absolutely adore this one. Oh, it is just so cute. First of all, I'm going to take another half bead and I'm going to put it where the hanger was just to cover that hole. And then I'm going to use my white chalk paint on the bunny, and then I will do the antique wax over the beads and the rest of the sign. Once it was all done, I took some more white chalk paint and this little brush, and I am just going to do some dry brushing with my white chalk paint all around the top part of the beads. And I'm just going all the way around it until it makes my eyes happy. After that, I am going to take some hot glue. This is super easy, you guys, and I'm just going to glue to those tumbling tower blocks to the front, right under those beads, and then I'm going to take the other two and I'm going to glue them to the back. And I should have put wax on the back of that sign, and I didn't. Oh my goodness. Anyways, after that, I took some of this ribbon. I got this last year from Dollar Tree, and I'm doing the awareness ribbon, making a bow, scrunching it up with some twine. And then I am going to trim the ends at an angle. I'm not going to dovetail because they're too thin. It's not wide enough. So I'm just going to cut them at an angle. And then I'm going to hot glue it right to the neck of our bunny. I guess all our bunnies are girls because I'm giving everything bows. And then I just added some of these little roses from Hobby Lobby, and look how adorable that is. So simple, but yet so cute. This is the final project for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for staying. And if you like this video, make sure you give me that thumbs up and comment. I will be back again on Thursday with another collaboration. So make sure those notification bells are set. And with all that being said, you guys, I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.